Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the show. This is Vimo Live. If you are on the YouTube channel right now in the live chat, then it's a YouTube channel. If you are listening to it as audio at a later point of time, then it's a podcast. And if you are listening to the podcast, you are doing so on Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Kana.com, JioSavan, Pocket Casts, and wherever else you listen to audio, basically. And if you are doing that, I would highly appreciate it if you could leave a review of it on Spotify and Apple Podcast. On Spotify, you can only leave a rating. On Apple Podcast, you can leave a rating and a review. So I would really appreciate it if you could do that. Or if you can't do any of those things, simply share the episode on your social media with a comment and maybe send it to your friends who you think might also find it interesting. This show happens from Monday to Friday at 10 p.m. India time on YouTube, and there have been plans of doing it on other platforms also. However, those plans never take off. I've been mostly looking at Twitch, where Vimo Live is also monetized, but I haven't used Twitch as much ever since I started YouTube. So primarily, yes, YouTube. But in future, who knows where we might go in addition to YouTube? Like this channel is obviously always going to remain up, but we don't know where we might go in the future. So hello to all the 14 people who are watching right now, and to everyone in the chat. Mesmer, hi. Purvesh, hello. Mesmer, addict listeners, Vikas, Samajik Samaj, Curious Joe, hello everyone. Mesmer says, I also started watching Orville. Great. It's an amazing show. By the way, there is another YouTube channel run by my friend Ashwin Kalmane, which I also am a part of. It's called Gutter Space. It's a pop culture podcast. We talk about shows. Last week, we talked about Star Trek, Strange New Worlds. Before that, we talked about Halo. Before that, we talked about Obi-Wan Kenobi and stuff like that. And in the coming week, I think we are going to cover Miss Marvel and Orville, first two seasons at least. The third one is still ongoing, so we're not going to cover it yet. But Orville, first two seasons we are going to do, and we'll see. And also, The Boys is coming. So if you haven't, you can find the link to Gutter Space on the main page of this channel, and you can go subscribe to it. Uh, Ashwin Mishra says, "Hey man, you're very cute. No homo." अरे no homo क्यों? Homo भी चलेगा. It's okay. The Batman Begins says Abhijit Chawda this side. Oh, okay. Batman Begins. आज तक तुम ही थे. So it was you all this while. Sumana says, if you're secretly listening right now, you must be fill in the blank. If you're secretly listening right now, you must be. I don't know. Does anyone listen secretly? Like these days, it's hard to do anything online secretly, right? If you're secretly following me on Twitter, I don't know how. Like fake ID बना के, but तुम्हारा data तो social media platform cover कर ही रहा. By the way, something interesting happened today that I wanted to talk about. So this is like think about this a little bit. A few months ago, somebody went through the code on Amazon's website and found mention of something called Amazon Tube. Now, this might have been a code name for another project that Amazon is working on, but there was controversy about it because people thought Amazon was creating a YouTube competitor, another video platform. And Google was not happy about it, and some words were exchanged, but the matter disappeared. We don't know what happened. Today, YouTube has announced that people like me with monetized YouTube channels can create a shopping tab on the channel. Like you go to the main page of the channel, you will see, uh, you'll see videos, members, community tab, etc. In addition to that, now there is a feature. If I have a Shopify page, then I can integrate it with the YouTube channel and I can create a shopping tab. So this means that if YouTube becomes a place where people come to, buy things, then YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. Imagine YouTube पे किसी चीज को search करना, and in addition to videos, you also find products that you can buy. And these are not links that go to Amazon. These are links that go to Shopify, Kadak Merch, and other partner stuff on YouTube. So if YouTube gets into this game and it becomes a place where people come and search and find products, I can totally imagine Amazon getting pissed about it. So the understanding I had, and this may be a naive understanding because I don't know anything about what happens in the background. The understanding I had was that Amazon wanted to do a YouTube competitor, but then there was disagreement. So Amazon decided not to do it or something. But if YouTube is going into shopping, is it likely that in the coming few months we might actually see Amazon getting into video also? because there is such a thing as Amazon Live. It's video, it's live video, but it's not for, creators of information. It's where a shop, a business has an Amazon Live session. People go, and that live is about selling stuff. It's basically sellers having a live session where they sell stuff, like a teleshopping network kind of thing, if that makes any sense. So YouTube is also getting into that market, and YouTube Live is a thing, and YouTube is putting more resource into live streaming, getting gamers onto YouTube by paying them money. Like star gamers from Twitch have been brought over to YouTube in exchange for money, and they're streaming gaming at least scores of hours every week. So there is some competition happening, and live video and shopping are at the center of it. So I think we are going to see some interesting developments in the coming few weeks and months, I suppose. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. Today's live stream's main topic, which we haven't still reached, which is because despite it being 6 minutes and 44 seconds into the live stream, the topic is the topic is discourse, because I get messages every once in a while on my Instagram where someone says अपने कमेंट्स क्यों ब्लॉक कर रखे हैं, एंड मैंने एक्चुअली कमेंट्स ब्लॉक करके नहीं रखे हैं उस हद तक. आई हैव ओनली enabled a feature that says anyone who follows me can comment, people who don't follow me can't comment. It's a spam, uh, it's a spam thing, uh, it's a anti-spam measure basically. And of course, when someone posts messages or comments that are in violation of the rules of my profile, I also ban them or restrict them or delete their comments. And that's because when my Instagram profile started taking off, one of the main things that was on my mind was that there are a lot of things that need to be said, but are they not being said. And people who are saying them elsewhere are getting trolled, abused, and shut down. So I decided that my profile will be a space for those opinions. Now, those opinions are something I write about, and when other people write about those things, I also encourage them to write. But there are some opinions which I will never ever tolerate on my Instagram profile, such as reservation should be based on money only, which is an entirely, completely clueless upper caste opinion, which has no foundation in reality, because reservation is a measure, it's a method of addressing social injustice. It's not an economic upliftment program. We have other economic upliftment programs. To make reservation also about economic upliftment is seemingly a way to get rid of reservation itself. And upper caste people, as we have seen many times here, they come on this channel, they talk about stuff, and they say that, yeah, so but merit. And I have come to realize that even the merit argument is extremely casteist, because what someone is saying is that upper caste people who are not getting jobs seemingly apparently because of reservation are meritorious, and the people who are getting jobs because of a reservation are not meritorious. So it's a casteist argument. It is dressed in modern language, but it is actually a casteist argument. So I had decided long time ago that मैं अपने Instagram profile पे इन opinion को आने ही नहीं दूंगा, because these are the opinions of the privileged majority, and these opinions are said so often that other opinions don't even get a space to be heard. So I will let my profile be a space where these opinions are expressed, and the other opinions, they can express them elsewhere. They can go on their Instagram handles, their channels, their blogs, their newsletters. They can express them there. Because of this, every once in a while, what happens is that someone comes from a privileged background and they say you are engaging in censorship. Now, censorship का मतलब क्या होता है? Censorship का मतलब होता है you prevent someone from speaking, which is not what I'm doing. You can speak whatever you want on your own profile and your own comment space, just not here, because this is not the space for those opinions. This space has been specifically created so that the opinions that you don't get to hear are heard here. So I'm kind of exercising a kind of positive discrimination in favor of the opinions that you guys shut down. Because the kind of topics we talk about, there is also a power structure there. Most people will talk about religion, but when someone who's an atheist says that religion has problems, they will say, "Oh, हाँ, ये हमारे खिलाफ बोल रहा है, हमको ऑप्रेस कर रहा है, हमको दबा रहा है." वो लोग दबे नहीं होते हैं. उनके ओपिनियन इतने वाइड स्प्रेड होते हैं कि whenever someone questions them, they feel like they're being oppressed because they have not experienced opposition. So this happens. And today, what happened was someone came and said that, why are you? censoring opinions from my side on your comment thread. And my answer to that, I'm not censoring. You're free to do it elsewhere. And in addition to that, most people, the opinions that you say I'm censoring, the opinions that you say I'm closing my mind to, I'm not closing my mind to them. I've heard them so many damn times that I'm tired of them. And everyone who comes with these arguments, I have a radical new idea about how reservation should be done. I have a radical new idea about what is actually the meaning of religion or Hindu Rashtra. Those are not radical ideas, beta. you you have been saying them your whole life. Your daddy was saying them his whole life. Your grandfather was saying them his whole life. These ideas are so widespread that it is nothing short of hilarious to hear from your mouth that these ideas are radical and new, and that I am closing my mind to them. You don't represent newness, you represent oldness. In order to get rid of this oldness, a space has been created where this old phata hua dhol garbage will not be entertained. That is what you're dealing with. You're not being censored. So that is the problem here. The discourse problem that I mentioned in the thumbnail of this live stream has to do with the fact that even when we are having a discourse, not all ideas have equal weightage. Some ideas come from a marginalized backdrop and they deserve more space because they're not being given enough space. Some ideas are coming from such a privileged place that you can't even consider all ideas equal because these ideas have been payload by a majority of powerful people in India for decades, if not centuries. So that is what the point was about. Power structure among ideas. The ideas that are not expressed as much, the ideas which are suppressed, the ideas which are punished deserve more space because these ideas have to do with social justice. So that was it. And let me look at a few comments because a lot of people have left comments now. Batman Begins says, Hi from India's dumbest podcast. I think इस podcast का नाम बदल के कर देना चाहिए India's dumbest podcast. At least we'll be sending a message. Sumana says, Ha, you must be Russia. Cherish says the dopamine TIL moments gives you is TIL moments क्या होता है? Gives you is visibly more than visual entertainment. Is it only laziness that insulates people from realizing this? What are TIL moments? What did we talk about something that can be spelled as? Guys, I'm extremely bad at abbreviations. Just spell the whole thing out. The Batman Begins says Amazon already created Amazon Mini TV, very similar to YouTube, with a lot of good content. And next step must be to allow creator content to upload videos on it. Yeah, so Amazon Mini TV, I kind of opened, but it is a part of the Amazon app itself. It's not a new app. So it's not a video only app. And nobody goes to a shopping mall to watch videos or be entertained. If Amazon started a separate app just for videos, people will download it. But this thing, I don't know how it works. Um, Mood Kya says, saw Science is Dope ka video. He's getting better day by day. Yeah, yeah. This today's video was very important, very timely. And I don't know why people think that medical science and health advice is something so frivolous that anyone can do it. What is the qualification of these people on the Instagram handle? On what? Like they're not citing any sources. अपने पिछवाड़े से निकाल निकाल के तो कोई भी कुछ भी पेल सकता है. Vikas says, in some religious songs, it is said that a day will come when no one will follow Dharma and it will be called Kali Yuga. What is your thinking on this? Actually, that is not the definition of Kali Yuga. So, even like ये लोग अपना खुद का mythology गलत बोलते हैं. Kali Yuga, in Odia, there is a word called Kali. It means quarrel. That is what Kali Yuga means. The age of Jhagada. So, in in Kali Yuga, it is said that uh, defenders will become offenders. The uh, uh, those who are supposed to be in charge of protecting will start doing damage. Those who are in charge of being devout and dharmic will become uh, adharmic, etc., etc. Which is, religious metaphorical language and all that. But if someone genuinely believes that this is Kali Yuga, they will stop following religious leaders. Because if they believe in Kali Yuga, they also have to believe that religious leaders are actually not religious leaders. Because this is the age of upside down. Everything is supposed to be the opposite of what it is saying. So if anyone claims to be a defender of dharma in the Kali Yuga, they're clearly lying. If you believe that Kali Yuga exists, then you will not follow any religion. or any religious guru, by the way. Samajik Samad says income certificates are the most rigged documents. Discourse control is the thing Indian opposition have to adopt. Addict listener says, I live alone since 4 months. I'm working plus doing my masters far from my home. But nowadays, I'm kind of depressed. How can I keep myself motivated and not to do overthinking? Addict listeners, again, this is a mental health question. Probably you should address it to the people who can give mental health advice. If you are simply sad and it's not depression of any kind, you can probably motivate yourself by looking at motivational videos, maybe, because they do have some merit as far as studying etc is concerned, and that seems to be a problem. um, Mesmer says yes, there would be a day where no one will follow religion and everyone will follow humanity. Following caste system, killing gay people, killing people based on religion is anyways not good, obviously. But I don't think there will be a day when any where everyone stops following a religion. I think religion itself changes over time. You think that the shape that religion was in a 200, 300 years ago, if you gave that to people now, people will take it. Most people won't take it. And most people have developed defenses for their religion. They are choosy about it. Like I take the good parts of my religion and don't take the bad parts and stuff like that. So, if someone's intention is to be religious, they will find a way to be religious. Also, the religions that exist right now will change over time, they will adapt. I don't think religiosity as a thing in general will disappear, but the religions that exist right now will not exist in the form that they exist in right now. Moodkia says, when I first heard you, the name came to my mind was Naval Ravikant. I don't know who that is because you and him both have one thing in common, and that is clarity of thought. The way you both deliver it, by the way, just followed you. Thanks, Moodkia. You followed me? Where? I thought you were already subscribed to this channel. Mesmer says, even there would be crimes, but the crimes based on religion will get reduced. Probably. Let's hope for that, but I don't think it's going to happen. The Batman Begins says, Vimo, your thoughts are opening my mind. Earlier, I got stuck at some point, but now I'm digging and you show the direction to think. That's great. Good. Ch- oh, Cherish Toda said, today I learned TIL. Yes, I realize. I remember now. So let's go back to your original comment, which was, अरे कहाँ गया? Wow, I seem to have lost it. The Batman Begins says Amazon Mini TV is now watchable in Chrome browser, desktop, mobile. Okay. Somana says, I think privileged people like us should learn to be good listeners first. Most of the time, when someone is speaking, we listen to respond. We have to learn to listen. We have to learn to listen to just learn. Yeah. But the things that I already know, the knowledge, the so called knowledge that is coming from other privileged people like me, that I have already kind of outgrown. And I have come to a point where I know that if I am going to learn, if I am going to listen in order to learn, I better listen to the people whose opinions are uncomfortable to me. The opinions of other privileged people like me are going to be extremely comfortable for me, or at least they were a year ago, and now things have a couple of years ago, and now things have kind of flipped. Manmad says, silly. Now most government PHCs have an Ayush doctor adjacent to an MBBS. Devolution is on full display. Nadir says, call yug is when calls will become cheap and conversation scarce. We're already there, aren't we? Sandy Kumar says, first time in a live chat. Thanks, Sandy. Thanks for joining. Itihase Jolcha says, I'm making a video about exploitation of Global South. What is your thoughts? That's a fairly generic, long answer type question. And I don't think I have specific answers about it. But if you are going to make a video about exploitation of the Global South, maybe focus on capitalism. Because there are members of the Global South who have decided that they need to belong to the Global North by becoming members of the capitalist millionaire class, and they also add to the same thing. So someone from the global north might be a poor man, and someone from the global south might be an Indian corporation. Nadir says Kal Yug is when they will be ready to cull each other for the tiniest of slides. We are already there. Unknown says today I'm facing nihilism. What to do? What? Ask it to come tomorrow, I guess. I don't know how you're facing nihilism. Nihilism is a philosophy. Are you saying that you're finding yourself experiencing meaninglessness? Okay, so in that case, find some meaning. Watch some optimistic movie. Watch a film that shows you that there is hope and meaning in this world. Maybe that will help. Mesmer says when the human intelligence increases, the complexity of humans also increases. I'm not sure what you mean by human complexity. And I'm not sure human intelligence increasing has anything to do with complexity, because there are beings which are, again, I don't want to comment on this question because I don't know what you mean by it. Nader says cool yug is full blown ice age after the global warming cycle. Vivberry and Lemonade says, what do you think about how societies, say government, will react to decline of population since we see women's body autonomy being controlled in the name of population? You already have a great example of it in Margaret Atwood's uh, book and the series based on what's it called? Handmaid's Tale. Handmaid's Tale is a very good example of it. If you have not seen it or read it, please do so. Sumana says, addict listener, it's also a part of growing up. It happens when you move away, find a community near you. Your friends will be your new family. Also, consult a therapist if needed. Yeah, consult a therapist is what my advice would be. By the way, Cherish has become a member of the channel. Welcome, Cherish, to the community, and thank you for becoming a member. I'll remind everyone that if you want to become a member and support my work, I'm a live streamer and podcaster. If you want to support it, you can become a paying member of the channel by clicking the join button below this video and becoming a member. You can also send super chats. By the way, there is also a feature to gift memberships to other people. So if anyone wants to explore that possibility, please feel free to do so. Uh, Addict listener says, I've seen a lot of videos on internet about celibacy or no fap. Does those thing really works, or is it just a topic with people like and content creator make videos on to get more views? I will say this. I have not seen any evidence to suggest that masturbating less or not at all helps you health wise. If you are obsessed with masturbating, then maybe reduction of it is a good thing. But no fap, I don't know. Like I don't know of any evidence that says that these things are actually useful. Mesmer says there was some news that James Webb Space Telescope discovered alien life. Is that true? No, not true. Batman Begins says, Bimo, आपको हर घर तिरंगा लगाने का मैसेज आया? Gobi ji giving task like Big Boss on TV. Gobi ji gives task because he needs to reinforce the idea that he is the one who gives task. गोभी जी के आने से पहले भी लोग तिरंगा फहराते थे। गोभी जी के जाने के बहुत टाइम बाद तक भी लोग तिरंगा फहराएँगे। तिरंगा फहराने के लिए गोभी जी की एडवाइस की किसी को ज़रूरत नहीं है। लोग वो अपने आप कर सकते हैं। गोभी जी का जो असल में काम है, इकोनॉमी को सुधारना और भारत में पीस मेंटेन करना, अगर वो उसके ऊपर ध्यान दें, तो बेहतर रहेगा। बिकॉज़ आफ्टर ऑल दैट इज़ द जॉब ही वाज़ हायर्ड फॉर। हम लोग पैसे किस लिए दे रहे हैं उनको? Mesmer says, "When population will increase, then will women be forced to have more children?" ये क्या सवाल? When population will decrease, then women will be forced to have more children. Probably, yeah, it happens in some cases. Russia had a problem until about a decade ago when its population was effectively reducing by 50% every 10 years. And there are countries in Europe where the government TV ads ask people to have more children, and these countries are facing, like, India has a demographic dividend, so called. Apparently हमने तो बर्बाद कर दिया उसको, but India apparently has a situation where most of our people are young. There are countries in Europe where most people are old, एंड उधर इन्फेंट मोर्टेलिटी रेट मेडिकल साइंस की वजह से मेंटेन हो भी रहा है, पर लोग ज़्यादा बच्चे पैदा नहीं कर रहे हैं। सो इन दोज़ कंट्रीज़, आई डोंट रिमेंबर व्हिच वन इट वाज़, बट आई डू रिमेंबर सम कंट्रीज़ एनकरेज देयर पीपल टू हैव मोर चिल्ड्रन। Batman Begins says, Vimo, did you watch Leila on Netflix? Yes, Batman Begins. I did watch it a long time ago. I don't remember much about it. And I told you a couple of days ago that the first video on this, not this channel, my main channel, was about Leila, the series only. Itihasar Jalsa says, did you watch Don't Look Up movie? Yes, Itihasar Jalsa, I did. In fact, I did a live stream about it also, long back. If you search for Don't Look Up, you'll find a clip of it. Fibberry says, "What do you think about Westworld? I've only seen the first season and I did not completely understand it. At some point of time, I hope to get to uh, the second and third seasons of it, at which point of time I suppose it'll make more sense. But I love the idea of self determination of conscious beings, which are artificial life forms. Diamond Being, hi, thank you for being a member. I propose a mixed economy model, growth and safety both possible simultaneously. It will have UBI, free health and education, free market, social safety like reservations, etc. Best of both. The reason, yeah, that is a good idea, and even though somewhat simplistic, but the problem, the problem with it is that think about who does not want equality, who wants to hog all the resources, who will be hurt if resources are distributed equally. Those people are hand in glove with the political class and they will not allow these things to happen. सिस्टम कंसेप्चुअलाइज करना बहुत आसान है पर उसको इम्प्लीमेंट करने के लिए तुमको ये जानना होगा कि ये इम्प्लीमेंट अभी हो क्यों नहीं रहा है. Atharva says, "Hey Vimo, have you played Near series? No, I have not." Isha says, "Currently the country is showing decline in population, incentivize citizens to have more children, and incentivize immigrants to settle there." Yes, that is also something that happens. Such a beautiful thing, by the way. Given our situation, it sounds like such an enlightened thing. Nadir says, "Vimo, have you bought more books recently? Bookshelf seems more full." No, it's dark. And also, there was some shuffling happening. I took some out and put them back. Maybe I didn't put them back in the right order. Some are just lying on top of each other. That's why it looks a little full. But yeah, I have been buying more books, but not enough to make a visual difference in the bookshelf. Apurv says, "Participation and stupidity increases sunk cost for people." Yeah, probably. Sunk cost, in case anyone doesn't know, Apuru means there is a logical fallacy called sunk cost fallacy, which means that if you have invested a lot in something, you will support it more because you will start thinking कि इतना सारा पैसा लगा है तो सपोर्ट तो करना चाहिए क्योंकि अगर नहीं करूंगा तो गधा दिखूंगा क्योंकि मैंने बहुत सारे पैसे लगे और मैं मूर्ख हूँ. So that is, if people what he's saying, that if people participate in stupidity, then the sunk cost fallacy tendency to uh, behave in ways that correspond to the sunk cost fallacy increase. Kavish says fighter toads was mentioned yesterday. Yeah, here's fighter toads. Yeah. Fighter toads was mentioned yesterday. I used to love reading them. I still remember a story that they could not find bugs to eat because unemployed घर पे मच्छर मार रहे थे. That sounds very fighter toads. Diamond Being says, "Has the constitution failed us or have we failed the constitution?" We have failed the constitution. And of course, the constitution can bear some changes, but that's beyond the point. Beside the point. In making and establishing secularism in all spheres, social, political, etc. No, the constitution is fairly correct in enabling us to follow secularism everywhere because a country cannot progress without taking religion out of the equation. Vikas says, "Tihar Chaudhary moved to Aaj Tak and resigned Z News. What is your opinion?" What's there to give my opinion on? He has quit a job and he has joined another job. इसमें opinion का क्या है? By the way, Naveen Kumar has pointed out today that the name that they have given Sudhir Chaudhary's show on Aaj Tak, it's called Black and White. Apparently, this was a show that Naveen Kumar himself used to host back when he was in Aaj Tak. So they have taken that name and given to Sudhir Chaudhary. So it's a second-hand show basically. The Batman Begins says Russia solving its less population by accumulating Ukraine population without investing in social schemes to get more children. I'm not sure that was the reason. Siddharth Gautam says, by the way, you got the news, Vimo, where government is asking for caste for recruiting army personnel even when there is no reservation there. Yeah, I saw some screenshots about Agniveer joining forms having the caste thing there. And some people are objecting to it. Yeah, I saw the news. Sarvesh says you had mentioned universal healthcare, free education. Those are welfare policies present in capitalist societies too. Socialism, workers owning means of production guarantees it. Well, yeah, but universal healthcare is universal free healthcare is what I was talking about. People should not suffer because of lack of money. People should not, like, lack of money. Like, for example, if someone has $10 billion and you reduce it to $1 billion, they're still living a reasonably comfortable life. But there are people who live from paycheck to paycheck. So for them, access to healthcare, access to medicine, access to uh, healthcare procedures should not be unaffordable. That is what I was talking about. And Ming says, how about making a limit cap on profit, like maximum profit margin of 30%, no matter the amount? Hmm. Again, I'm not an economist. Maybe I should get an economist to talk about this. Batman Begins says, did you watch Upload on Amazon Prime? Yes, I have. It's quite cool. If you have not seen Upload the series, please watch it. मोहम्मद साहू सेज, गोभी जी इतना बोलते क्यों है? गंगा ने बुलाया है, माँ काली को देश को प्यार है, अमृत काल कितना बड़बोला है, इतना कौन बोलता है? So that last sentence is kind of avoidable. You shouldn't do that. Survey says Nordic countries that have these are capitalist, imperialist, and also perform poorly in the Sustainability Development Index. Should we strive for such a model then? Look at the, like, no model is going to be perfect, but look at the model we have right now. Are we not suffering because of it? You are someone who's in a ditch. You are being given a ladder. You are saying the ladder is broken. Should we use it? Yeah, we should aspire to doing better. If someone has a better system than ours, we should aspire to it. Even if that system has its own problems, those problems are minor, because those problems are minor compared to the other problems that we have right now. We have a situation where people die because of a lack of food. We have a situation where people can't afford life-saving medicine. Are those things at least on the table? If they are, I would say, yeah, it's a system worth aspiring to. The system is not perfect. They have other problems, and we may very well enter a time when those problems become realities for us. But it is better than what we have right now. It is what we have is a shit system right now. Vikas says, what is your opinion on Azim Premji, who says that a single person should not have too much money? I agree. Kshitij says, have you read the fan theories of Game of Thrones? Most of them were better than the last few seasons of Game of Thrones. I agree. I'm waiting for the books, by the way. Survey says, just for context, my personal belief lies in anarcho communism. Okay, personal belief. So I'll take it as that. Isha says, Nordic countries are among the best in human development indices. Kshitij says, Bhakts are sad that paneer would have 5% GST and chicken would have none. Diamond Being says, can you please explain the strawman fallacy in simple terms with your own articulation using some examples from usual political discourse in the country? Diamond Being, you asked this question 3 days ago and I gave you an answer. Take the example of this thing that is happening in Lulu Mall, where a bunch of people who are not Muslim pretended to be Muslims and gave namaz, and then some Baba type went and tried to do Shuddhikaran there. They are creating an enemy that does not exist in order to attack the enemy and then use that attack as a justification to oppress other people from that community. That's a straw man. Prasenjit says in Rick and Morty show they mock Christianity and Jesus many times. In India, not possible anymore. If PK is released now, Amir Khan would have been in jail. Quite possible. Yeah. I mean, quite possible, the scenario that you're describing. The Batman Begins says, system never failed, only the people corrupted it. Either you bring the world's best constitution and system. What? No, the system did fail, right? The system has checks and balances. The system has independent institutions, and those institutions are doing if the system is such that someone with a certain amount of power can corrupt other people who are also in power and place their representatives in on all these institutions, then the system has a problem. And that problem, by the way, has to do with culture, religion, and caste. People don't see it that way. But had it not been for caste and religious solidarities, the system would not have been so easy to corrupt. The problem is that despite wanting to be secular, we have not actually been able to wipe out religion from our public life. And that is why this happened. Siddharth says, I meant to ask what is your opinion on it, considering it is up to people in power who will get to decide who gets permanent job after 4 years in Agniveer, and we know what ideology these people follow. Yeah, exactly. Um, Survey says Isha HDI does not Human Development Index does not consider environmental impact and sustainability. The harm they cause to the global south because of their consumption is very problematic. Purvesh says SC is saying that they are proposing linguistic religious minority status to be decided state-wise. So in some states, some country-wide minor religions will be major decided by states. Let's see. Supreme Court बहुत सारे comment देती है, but if every single comment is treated as a blueprint for something that is going to happen in the real world, then we are pretty much going to talk about Supreme Court all day long. I will wait for them to make something into a law or a rule or a policy before I start talking about it. Eric listener says, I have read something in internet that someday 70% of jobs will be replaced by AI. Governments are planning to introduce UBI, Universal Basic Income, so the model of UBI will actually work. Again, I have very little faith in anything that this government does because there is a world of difference between what they say and what they do. The day those two things come together, I will be able to take their policy decisions seriously. Right now, I can't. Diamond Being says, don't you think कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में more strong provisions होने चाहिए थे to prevent fascism and majoritarian democratic theocracy? There are. It is, constitution has provisions to make sure that discrimination does not happen, etc., etc., etc. But what I'll be really interested in seeing is after this shit show is over, what changes we bring around in the system so that to make sure that this garbage does not happen again. Kavish says, I've observed a new wave of Bollywood movies are being made on topics like Savarkar and anti-reservation, but looking at quality of current Bollywood, they will still they will still flop. Hopefully that happens. If someone is putting out toxic stuff in the entertainment industry, they should flop. Mesmer says India ranks 135 out of 146 countries in gender gap index. Pankaj says, hey Vimo, are you writing stories till now? Example Ravanayan. Pankaj, I haven't actually written any comic book after Ravanayan. Yeah, I have written, but those will take some time to come out. I have written some short stories. I'm working on a novel. So yeah, I have been writing, but nothing worth reading out there. Unknown says, as you know, how do you know what I know? Why are you starting sentences with as you know? Elon Musk is saying that population of the world is less than necessary for the development of our species. Do you agree with him? I have not heard this comment that he is supposed to have made. I don't I haven't read the whole thing. Population of the world is less than necessary for development of our species. What do you mean by development of our species? This, by the way, is also a guy who says we should drop nuclear bombs on Mars. So I will take what he says with a pinch of salt. Elon Musk is not a policy expert. He's not an expert in anything. He's a uh, businessman. Why are we treating businessmen as if they know what to do with the future of humanity? I feel more women should be encouraged to participate in workforce. Even trans people should be given reservations. I agree. Isha says, Sarvesh, Sweden imports waste from other countries since it is so efficient in it. Countries like UK, US send their waste to India, China, and other poor countries, but do not fare well in Human Development Index. Diamond Amar says, what do people mean exactly when they say honor your ancestors? Isn't this whole thing against progressivism and changing for the better and rectifying age old social norms and traditions? Well, it depends on who's saying it, and you should ask the people who say it. But as a general rule, honor your ancestors should not mean that honor everything that your ancestors did, because we have to at least reject some parts of what our ancestors did if we are to progress. For example, if America started honoring their ancestors who were racists, then they would still have racism as part of policy. At least on paper, racism is illegal, right? They're still quite racist, but at least on paper, racism is illegal. So honor your ancestors depend karta hai what you mean by it and in what context it is being used. Mood Kya says, someone asked Haris, isn't it better to be agnostic than atheist? I paused the video and gave it a thought but could not find a good answer. Then I saw Haris's answer. He said, dot, dot, dot. Wow. क्या suspenseful comment है. Augustus says Elon Musk is not right about most of the things he has to comment upon. That is true. Elon Musk को बड़ी तोप मत समझो. He says quite a lot of stupid things and he should not be given so much importance that उसके comment के ऊपर हम लोग discuss करेंगे अलग से बैठ के. बहुत से लोगों के पास बहुत सारे opinion होते हैं. Elon Musk is just one of them. The Batman Begins says government asking for caste and religion document because they would prepare a list of upper caste Hindus for permanent jobs and rest must be thrown out. So racial purity now. That's speculation, but informed speculation. I don't think I completely disagree with this possible. Nadir says, when is the Darshan sequel coming? Hopefully soon, Nadir. It is half written, but I kind of lost track of it. I think what happened was that I was tracking news, and this was around the time when Facebook changed its name to Meta, and Metaverse started getting talked about a lot. And now all the talk has kind of disappeared. But I was kind of sort of in a similar situation in the story, and I did not want to write something that would seem outdated after the Metaverse thing happened. And I took such a long break that I lost interest in writing, and that happens. So I will have to get back to it. But it's half written. It'll come. It'll come soon. Arav says, "Have you watched Article 15?" No, I haven't watched the movie Article 15. Kshitij says Elon Musk has 9 kids already. He really is taking his less population theory too seriously himself. So yeah, so this is a rich white guy trying to justify his personal behavior by turning it into advice for all of humanity. Isha says Elon Musk in this day and age has 9 children. Hard to take him seriously. Diamond Being says, I would always choose a fool, Pappu, compassionate political leader than a strong 56-inch chest religio cultural hardliner. Manma says, in Indian movies, I have never seen a true atheist character. He, she cribs as if something went wrong in his or her transactional relationship with God, but finally he, she reveres God. Yeah. Atheists get a very, very bad representation in cinema. Forget Indian cinema, even abroad. Like the number of good atheist characters I can count on the fingers of my two hands. And I don't even remember most of it right now. But there are some good ones. But yeah. Mesmer says, today I saw a 2-year-old video where the army chief general said gay people are not allowed in Indian army. Like, what do they think gay people are not strong enough to do? Patriarchy is really ruining India. True. सीनियर says भक्त और गोदी मीडिया आजकल श्रीलंका की बात कर रहे हैं पाकिस्तान थैंक्स अल्लाह कुछ दिन के लिए जान छूटी Itihasir Jalsa says, I do not think India could have any meaningful changes. There has to have a major disaster before India's inherent problems could be solved. I don't think disasters will even change it because it's too large. There will be no disaster that hits all of us at the same time. So it's bound to be localized. Dark Knight says, have you watched Seinfeld? Yes, I have. Aditya says the discussion debate between facts and beliefs ends up in offending the latter side and the discussion debate fails. How do you keep such conversations alive? What approach works? Let them come to you. Don't go to religious people and challenge them on their religious beliefs. Be a vocal atheist. Be open about your views. Speak your mind about superstition and other assorted garbage. Let them come to you. Because then they can't say that you are attacking me. You can say, तेरे को मैंने बुलाया था यहाँ पे मत कर बात मन नहीं कर रहा है तो बट इफ यू आर हियर आई एम हैप्पी टू हैव अ कन्वर्सेशन बट आई एम नॉट गोइंग आफ्टर यू मेरे एप्पल पॉडकास्ट के रिव्यू सेक्शन में किसी ने एक 1 स्टार रिव्यू दिया है एंड ये सेड स्टॉप हैरेसिंग स्पिरिचुअल लीडर्स मैंने किसको हैरेस किया मैं किसको मैसेज भेज रहा हूँ आई एम सिंपली बीइंग हियर बाय माई सेल्फ आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट माई ओपिनियंस इफ यू डोंट वांट टू हियर इट डोंट हियर इट By the way, if anyone is listening on Apple Podcast, please actually go and write a review because अगर ये आदमी अपने 4-5 दोस्तों को ले आया ना तो पॉडकास्ट का रेटिंग गार्बेज में चला जाएगा. Sumana says, I tried buying Darshan, but it is not available outside of India. Is there any way to buy? Sumana, you can just email me. I'll send you a copy. I'll send you a copy and you can pay me through some other means. Send me an email at vimo@vimo.in. I'll reply. Mood kya hai says too, yes, there is a difference between atheism and agnosticism at theoretical level. But on the practical level, there is no difference. If anyone is not sure about God, then he can say maybe caste system is good. What? ये कहाँ से आ गया? Agnosticism is not a thing. You can be an agnostic atheist or an agnostic theist. खाली agnostic का कोई मतलब ही नहीं होता है. right? Agnostic atheism is when you don't know if God exists and therefore you do not believe. Agnostic theism is when you do believe that God exists, but you don't know what form God is in. That's it. Agnostic करके कुछ होता ही नहीं है. Kshitij says, this love thy ancestors ideology is bringing down the intellect of the whole nation. Most people are believing incredibly stupid things without doing any research or sometimes even using little logic. That is true. But I think it's not about ancestor worship because, see, we can't not take the past seriously because everything we have comes from the past. This mic is a product of the past. My shirt came from the past. I came from the past. Future से कुछ आता नहीं है. Therefore, it becomes very easy to forget that the future exists. But the future exists. But the future exists, and we are all going there. So uh, you can't ask people to not think about the past at all. What you can say is that थोड़ा कम भाव दो उसको. फ्यूचर के बारे में थोड़ा बहुत सोचो. You are never going to get to a point where most people are thinking about the future most of the time because they're surrounded by the past. A random turd says, what about PK? Amir Khan just joined stream, so can someone explain what we are talking about? What about PK Amir Khan? Like, what is the question here? What about PK मतलब क्या है? इसका मैं क्या जवाब दूँ? What about oxygen? Please write a 5,000 word answer. Uh, Manabendra says, Vimo, are you following DC's Dark Knights of Steel series of books? No, man, I have not followed any comics recently. I've mostly been reading old Raj Comics issues. Gentle Joffrey says, does capitalism reward psychopaths, sociopaths for their behavior? Yes. The Batman Begins says, do you really think Leela season 2 will release and its director and actors will be in special Tihar jail premiere? Is there any announcement about Leela ka season 2? Because I don't think it's going to happen. Season 1 did not do very well. Diamond Being says, Hindutva is molding Hinduism, diverse, multidimensional, into a uniform code of conduct like one theology, one food, one way of worship, one way of celebration, one type of clothing, etc. Everything same. So here's the thing Hindutva is molding Indian civilization into that. Hinduism was already a singular thing. Hinduism was a collection of ways of life from across the Indian subcontinent put under one label. But Hinduism is not something that ever existed before the British came because that was the first time the word was kind of put in sarkari forms. You will not find the word Hindu in Bhagavad Gita in the Vedas anywhere. What we have is Brahmanism, a system of living, a way of life, so to speak, created and maintained by Brahmins. So instead of using the word Hinduism, you would use the word Brahmanism because that seems more honest to what we had. If you want to talk about all the cultures of India, उसके अंदर इस्लाम भी आता है, उसके अंदर बहुत सारे ट्राइबल रिलीजन्स आते हैं which do not want to call themselves Hindu. So I would much rather say Indian culture instead of Hindu culture. Kavish says, saw the news of heat wave in Europe. Hopefully, white people will actually start worrying about climate change. Only then world will get serious about it. Diamond Being says, compassion, empathy, inclusive, indecisive person, politician than a strong, jingoistic, chest thumping cultural supremacist. What do you think about agnostic theists then? You think they're wrong? I do not know why they believe in God. Let's put it that way. For me, evidence is important. An agnostic theist is someone who believes in God but does not know what form God exists in. And it seems to me to be an emotional reaction to a primal need of companionship, of a supernatural friend. So, to me, evidence is important before I believe something. These are people who believe first and then look for evidence to support that belief. So, yeah, I do think that is wrong. Hmm. Vikas says, if I say I don't know anything about God, then how did I become an agnostic atheist? हो सकता है या नहीं भी और atheist नहीं हो सकता. No, agnostic atheist is not about हो सकता है नहीं. Agnostic or Gnostic, as in GNOSTIC, right? These are about knowledge. Agnostic means I don't know. Gnostic means I know. Atheist and theist, atheist or theist, Theist, are about belief. right? Atheist means I do not believe. Theist means I do believe. You're confusing the definitions. Siddharth says, ignoring my comments, bruh. No, I don't know what bruh is and where are your comments, man? You're typing in all caps. That's why. Stop typing in all caps. Pankaj says, what is grandfather paradox? Grandfather paradox is also known as grandmother paradox sometimes, and it is the idea that if you go back in time and you kill your grandfather when he was a child, then you will not be born, and therefore it will result in a paradox because if you were never born, who went back in time and killed your grandfather when you was a child? Puneet says, have you seen Ship of Theseus? No, I have not. Kavish says, how did you get Raj comics now? Are they available online? Yes, they're available online. There is a bit of confusion because Raj Comics, the family that runs Raj Comics, has kind of broken the business up. So there are like two or three websites. One is rajcomics.com, another is rajcomics something else.com. Do your research, find out the different websites, and you can order comics from all of them. I also sometimes just go to the local railway station and उनके पास latest Raj Comics होती हैं and I buy from there. Random Turd says about PK Amir Khan. I responded to someone saying atheists get a bad rap in Bollywood. So I asked, what do you guys think about Amir Khan's PK? I loved Amir Khan's PK. Amir Khan's PK and Paresh Rawal's, oh my god, I loved both of them. Alien says podcast rankings are mostly based on average listen time and not on ratings and reviews as most people seem to think. No, I don't think rating पे कोई प्रभाव पड़ेगा, but अच्छा नहीं दिखता ना. 1 star, average 2 stars. So there are people who attack podcasts with a bunch of fake reviews, 1 star reviews to reduce their popularity. But I know that ratings and reviews don't change rankings. But still, if you can afford to write a review on Apple Podcast, go and do so. Augustus says Leila was a disappointment. I liked the premise, but it bungled in execution. So I have heard. Diamond Being says, LOL, I have been your member since the very first day when your membership started, not from today, as I think you thought. And yes, I am Diamond Amar, same person. No, I didn't think so. I was just thanking people for being a member. Because whenever I thank people for being a member, I bring to other people's attention that I. लो इसको क्या बोलूँ मैं बताओ सिद्धार्थ गौतम आई टाइप्ड इन कैप्स बिकॉज यू डिड नॉट सी देम अब तो बंद कर दो भाई डोंट टाइप इन ऑल कैप्स इट्स वेरी रूड Diamond Being says, yes, they want to impose that uniform civil code of conduct or way of life on everyone. Fascism. Vimoji Asura. Random Turd says, as an agnostic theist, where do you think the universe came from? I'm not giving attributes to this cause, God, like a religious person. As an agnostic theist, I'm not an agnostic theist. I'm an agnostic atheist. I do not know where the universe came from. I know what science tells us, and I think that the widest possible scientific consensus is on the idea that at some point of time in the past, a rapid expansion of space and time and matter happened, and that was called the Big Bang. That's all we know. We don't know anything else. Anyone who says that they know, they have the burden of proof of justifying the answer. Puneet says you should watch Ship of Theseus. It's a beautiful film. Read the reviews before. Okay, I will try. Um, Random Turd says because the way scientists can speculate and make educated guesses on extraterrestrial life, I think it is fair if philosophers can make guess if the world has an origin or a creator. No, there is foundation to guess that extraterrestrial life exists. There is no foundation to think that intelligences that create universes can exist. The proof, the foundation for the evidence for the possibility of extraterrestrial life is us. There is a planet in space on which life exists. Therefore, it is likely that there might be other planets in space on which life exists. We have ourselves as an example. We don't have a frame of references, a reference for universes. If we had access to knowledge about the creation of multiple universes, and I have made this point many times in the past, if we knew that 5 universes are there and two of them were created by an intelligent creator, then we will have a frame of reference. But we don't. We have a frame of reference for life on other planets because there is life on this planet. See, the Batman Begins says, Vimo, I don't understand the obsession with religion and atheists. Let the things be normal, and why unnecessary attention to religion and non religion is just a practice or way of life. No, it's not. It's hurtful. It's damaging to a lot of people. People are beheaded when they leave their religion. People are murdered when they marry outside their caste. These are all religious things. If these things are happening all around you, and a political party fueled by one religious ideology is making proper laws to discriminate against people, then clearly that needs to be talked about. To do anything else is to be a shuturmurg, bury your head in the sand and not, not raise issues that need to be raised. Random Turd says, "Oh my God, Amir Khan was kind of cringe though. He is all gods at the same time. When all religions teach different things, and monotheists and polytheists and pantheists are technically enemies, not gonna lie." No, that is not true. Most religious, ye jo differences of religions, they're mostly synthetic. At the end of the day, all religions teach something similar, which is that there is supernatural intelligence at work in the universe, and that is what that was. Siddharth says, "Now I have caps lock on all the way till the stream ends." Wonderful. I guess you don't want to have your comments shown. Kshitij says, "Considering the amount of suffering we have in the world, I think mesotheism does make a lot of sense." I don't know what mesotheism is, or I do, but I have forgotten. Aditya says, "PK takes me to Prashant Kishore. He says BJP wants not just our vote, but more than that. That includes having a stake in our eating habits, dressing, praying styles, random tangent from PK." Yeah. Agastya says, "Here's the thing, Vimo. The odds of a prokaryote organism to evolve from eukaryote organism itself is extremely thin. So it's a fair bet that there could not be an extraterrestrial being near us." What? The odds of a prokaryote organism evolving from a eukaryote organism itself is extremely thin. So it's a fair bet that there could not be another extraterrestrial being near us. Well, the odds, see, here's the thing. When you say extremely thin, in order to justify extremely thin, you need only one occurrence. And we are that occurrence. When someone says the chances of something happening are 1,000,000 to 1 and the thing has not happened, you can surmise that the thing is extremely unlikely. But if the thing has already happened and you say the chances of it happening are a trillion to 1, it's meaningless because the thing has already happened. If someone said the chances of a universe emerging out of nothing are 1 trillion to 1, it's meaningless because the universe exists, right? So there is at least one chance, and that one chance has already happened. So the rest is pointless. Uh, Hemant has sent us 200 rupees super sticker. Thank you, Hemant. Much appreciated. Siddhant Gautam has now sent a small font. Hi, Vimo. Puneet says, खुमार बाराबंकुई का शेर है, जफाओं पे घुट घुट के चुप रहने वालों, खामोशी जफाओं की ताईद भी है. जफाओं मीन्स इनजस्टिस. ओके. इनजस्टिसों पे घुट घुट कर साइलेंट रहने वालों, साइलेंस इनजस्टिसों की ताईद. अबे ताईद का भी मतलब बता देते भाई. ताईद आई सपोज मीन्स सपोर्ट और समथिंग. Tithe means approval. Okay, cool, got it. But anyway, we are at the 58-minute mark. I'll just remind people before I get to the last few comments that this live stream happens from Monday to Friday at 10 p.m. And an audio version of this goes on my podcast. If you want to listen to the audio version of the podcast, you can do so at www.vimo.in. आज मैंने डिनर में पिज्ज़ा खाया है, तो मेरा पेट थोड़ा इमोशनल हो रहा है. So if you go to www.vimo.in, you will find all the podcast episodes there. You'll also find links to all the audio apps where the podcast can be listened to. If you want to support this channel, you can do so by clicking the join button below and becoming a member. In addition to that, if you don't want to become a monthly member, you can send a super chat, or you can click the thanks button on any video on this channel and leave a one-time donation. If you want to leave a donation elsewhere, you can do so at my blog, which is vimo.stck.me. There's a support button there which you can click and donate money. In addition, there is my Patreon page at patreon.com/Vimo. If you want to make a monthly or annual pledge and support me on Patreon, you can do that also. And there is my Hindi channel, which is youtube.com/Vimo Explains. आज शाम को ये एक वीडियो डाला है. It's about प्रेतों का राजा गुबगुबा. It's about explaining concepts in very simple manner in Hindi. The theme of the channel is बड़े सवालों के छोटे जवाब. So if you want to, you can just visit Vimo Explains, youtube.com/Vimo Explains. And then there is my main channel, which is youtube.com/Vimo, where I post vlogs mostly, but not personal life kind of vlogs, interesting ideas that come to me, and sometimes about atheism also. With that having been said, I will now return to the last few comments and we'll see. Like 12 comments we have. Hold on, let me reduce the volume a little bit. Yeah. Memories of the movie says PK was not even atheist. And the last speech he says, तुम यहाँ बैठ के उसको बचोगे जो पूरे दुनिया को बनाया है, बेचोगे जो पूरी दुनिया को बनाया है. I think it was mostly done to soften the blow. Yeah. PK the film was an atheist film, or rather an anti-religion film, I suppose. Random Turd says, my argument for a creator, everything created has a cause. Creator, the universe was created. One of the possible conclusions, the universe had a creator. This is the Kalam cosmological argument. It's not your argument. And secondly, the Kalam cosmological argument has been debunked thoroughly thousands of times. For example, the second point, how do you know the universe was created? Aren't you smuggling in an idea? Creation, the universe exists. We know this. And the universe began. We know this. But why are you saying that the universe was created? If the goal is to prove that the universe was created, you can't have your goal in the argument itself. Anyway, आज का stream तो खत्म होने वाला है. If you want to make the Kalam cosmological argument in detail, come back next stream or the stream after that and we'll see. Also, the first one, everything created has a cause, creator. Everything has a cause. मैं तुमने creator क्यों ठोस दिया बाद में फिर? Isn't that a little bit dishonest? If your goal is to prove that a creator exists, your argument's conclusion should have, therefore there is a creator. You can't have the creator in the first premise, and then the second premise also, and then in the conclusion also. That's not how argument works. Kshitij says pizza is anti-national. Only vada pav can be eaten in India. Batman Begins says Italy funding pizza. ये क्या लिखा है रे? The Kalam cosmological argument hasn't been debunked ever. Thing is, it was never proved either. I'm just saying it's a fair assumption. No, it's not a fair assumption. Come back next time and present it to me. We'll see how fair it is. Breeze says, saying universe is creation is... Yeah, universe ko creation bolna means you are smuggling in ideas. It's dishonest. And by the way, if you want to, you can just search on YouTube, Kalam cosmological argument debunked, and you'll find videos from Rationality Rules and other channels also. It's been debunked plenty of times. Purv says, I see some bhakts in the chat, meaning you must be doing something right. What? What bhakts? I haven't seen any bhakts in the chat. Or are their comments not getting to me? But anyway, thank you for joining today's live stream. Since we go live Monday to Friday at 10 p.m., I will be live tomorrow at 10 p.m. also. And when that happens, we will talk more. And until then, I hope you have a great day ahead. And आज क्या है? आज है Tuesday. Yeah, tomorrow is Wednesday. So I'll see you tomorrow at 10 p.m. Bye-bye.